Well, let's get some more analysis now, and we can speak to Aurélien Raccah, who is a lawyer at the international law firm Elia, based in Paris, and also an associate professor at the Catholic University of Lille. Thank you very much indeed for speaking to us. Mandatory vaccinations for healthcare staff. Let's begin with that. Is that legal?
It is completely legal. This is not the first time that a vaccine is compulsory for the entire society. There are already in France there are 11 vaccines that are compulsory. What is new it is to limit the access to some places and to control this access. But actually, there have been already many actions to the courts and overall to the Conseil d'État, to the French State Council, in the previous months on the different measures that were taken by the government. And it has already been controlled because it has been a step-by-step process. And there is no illegality to give a preferential treatment to the people that are already vaccinated and to give them access to specific places. So, of course, there is a conciliation of freedoms here. On one side, there is the right of privacy, the fact that the people can have their physical integrity and can choose wherever they want to be vaccinated or not. But on the other side, there's the protection of the public health. And if it is justified, this is the word of the Constitutional Court, the French Constitutional Court, if it is justified, it is perfectly legal. So we don't see any legal issue here, and for sure they will be back to the constitutional, to the Conseil d'État, to the French State Council. But I don't think that there will be big issues for the government.
Okay, so let's assume this doesn't come back to haunt the French government in the future. I mean, let's talk about the checks that business owners are going to have to carry out. You know, people who own cinemas, restaurants, people that own shopping malls are going to have to make sure that people present that health certificate. Is the responsibility, the legal responsibility, going to rest with those business owners to carry out those checks?
Indeed, you're right that the state is putting the responsibility to companies, to the cinema, to the theaters to control this. But look at your behavior yourself when you take a taxi, when you move in many places. This is already checked, and this is already compulsory in many areas, and it works pretty well. The impact is more economic because it will limit many people to have access to many places, because in France there are only 40% of the people that are vaccinated. But actually, this is not hard to control. You have on your cell phone, the application is called Tous Anti-Covid, and we can easily use it, and it takes like a few seconds to show it. So it shouldn't be a big issue, legal one, but this is mostly an economic issue for the companies.
And just lastly, I mean, people talking about infringements on personal liberties and so on. I mean, if you think about if there were to be a fourth lockdown, that would be a much greater infringement on the personal liberties of many more people. And I'm just wondering which of these two, the lockdown scenario or the you must have a vaccine to go places scenario, which one do you think would likely cause more legal drama in the longer term for the French government?
Now we are used with those limitations, with those prohibitions, and of course there has been many prohibition of limitation of movement for the peoples in France or in even everywhere in the world. But there have been already many reviews on those freedoms, all the freedoms. So freedom of movement, the physical integrity, the protection of, and one of the big issues that was raised recently, that was the protection of personal data. Actually, last week, the French State Council had to give a decision on this, and the different jurisdictions, they agreed that there is no infringement of the legality because we are protecting the public health. So giving a preferential treatment to those having the vaccine is perfectly legal.
Okay, well, thank you very much indeed, Aurélien. Raccah, thank you.